Patreon threatens Latex Dungeon dev not to share content via Discord, email, or DMs. So fucking Patreon. Patreon lays off 13% of their workforce, their profits drop by 35%, and then they cry about economic difficulties. And then also Patreon continues to stalk their users off the platform to find excuses to get rid of people who are making them copious amounts of money. So Patreon is literally, they're going broke, and they're still going out of their fucking way to chase people away. And it's not just for stuff they did on site, too. They're basically pulling a Sargon with these people. They're finding what they do off-site to find reasons to get rid of them. Now, Patreon has been targeting Japanese artists and developers, as well as anyone who draws in what was called the Japanese style, because they claim that some of the characters look like minors, even if the characters are canonically over the age of 18. And now this right here, like, guys, don't fall into this trap. Don't argue the age of a drawing. If anyone argues about the age of a drawing, you look at them like they're the retards they are and say, it's a drawing, you fucking retard. It doesn't have an age. It's lines on paper. It's pixels on a screen. Just keep bringing it back to that point. Every time they try to argue about age, you just bring it back like, it's a drawing, you fucking retard. And you never let them move past that, because they shouldn't be allowed to move past that, because it's a drawing. Yeah, don't fall into that trap. As soon as you start arguing the age of a drawing, you've already lost, effectively. In the latest row, Patreon targeted a Chinese artist and developer going by the handle of ZXC for posting content from his game Latex Dungeon. They wanted him to refrain from sharing images of the game via DM, email, or even Discord, because they claimed that the fictional characters in the HRPG weren't giving consent. So they think that they have the right to police what he does in his fucking emails or DMs or Discord off of his fucking Patreon. This is why you ditch this fucking company. Subscribestar exists. New Project 2 exists. You don't need Patreon. Stop using them. The emails that Patreon sent to ZXC were shared on his Patreon account, but the account is now in lockdown under review after he removed the art from his account, but refused to stop posting on Discord. Oh, now that is awesome. Yeah, this is what you should do. When these authoritarian fucks tried to pull this move, when they try to police what you do off-site, you let everybody know that's what they're doing. Say, hey, Patreon thinks they can control my behavior off-site. Everyone needs to know about this. Another content creator, ECCMA417, managed to copy the screenshots of the emails that Patreon sent to ZXC before his account went into lockdown and shared the message on his own Patreon account. This started after users reported ZXC to Patreon's trust and safety team. Why? You just laid off 13% of your staff and you still have that trust and safety team? Do you guys want to go broke? Fucking really? Apparently they do. That's a rhetorical question. Yeah, they have to be doing this on purpose. There is no way that they are actually this incompetent. This is intentional. This is malicious. Patreon is indeed actively murdering their own ecosystem. On April 22nd of current year, Sebastian from the TNS division told the content creators he would have to remove his Latex Dungeon and Sim Tentacles art or any links to the games. Even more than that, Sebastian outright told ZXC he would have to censor his games, otherwise he couldn't link to or even discuss them in connection with his Patreon account. The relevant part of the message reads, your games, Sim Tentacles and Latex Dungeon seem to heavily feature glorification of sexual violence in the form of struggle, snuggle, and non-consensual sex. As a reminder, content that depicts any form of non-consensual sex, such as struggle, snuggle, or the use of brainwashing to coerce consent and take sexual advantage of characters, is considered to be a glorification of sexual violence. This is the fucking soy infesting Patreon right now. We need to seek consent from participants involved in sexual interactions. The consent can be verbal or nonverbal, but those involved need to express clear and positive willingness to engage in sexual interactions. And by the way, these same people, like, it's a slippery slope with a fallacy, guys. All right, so they start with Lolly and Shota, And then they move on to the furries, which, by the way, I find fucking hilarious because it's usually the furries that are on the front lines fighting against Lolly and Shota. And then when they succeed in removing them, then the furries are on the chopping block. Then all of a sudden, it's not bestiality, guys. It's just a drawing, guys. Now suddenly they understand it's just a drawing. It's funny how that works out. Yes, and then, so first the Lollies and the Shotas go, then the furries go. Then any sort of niche fetish goes. Soon enough, all adult content is going to go. They are slowly tightening the noose around adult content creators. If you're an adult content creator and you're still on Patreon, if Patreon is still your main source of income, you seriously fucking need to have a backup plan. It's only a matter of time before they kick you the fuck off. Content glorifying sexual violence cannot be funded by or linked to or from your creator page in any way. Removing the content from your page is not enough. You need to update your games so they don't feature this type of content. He made the right choice making all this shit public, by the way. He really did. ZXC complied by removing his art from his Patreon page. However, that wasn't enough. In no uncertain terms, Sebastian told ZXC he would have to stop posting his content on Discord or sharing it via email or direct messaging, or else his account would be terminated. You can view the message that was sent to him on April 29th below. Which we do. There's way too much soy. We're not gonna waste time with that. The relevant part reads, as I mentioned before, since our guidelines extend to any content you share with your patrons via direct message, email, or even Discord, please remove and refrain from posting violative content for your patrons in those channels. How about you get fucked? I am going to be so fucking glad when Patreon goes out of business. Holy fucking shit. So basically, even after ZXC removed his art from his Patreon page, he was still sharing updates for Latex Dungeon and similar works in private to the people who followed him. Patreon forbade him from sharing his works in private to the people who followed him. Essentially, even when ZXC complied by removing the art from his page, Patreon discovered he was still sharing images and updates via a Discord channel and told him he had to stop sharing the content on there as well. Dude, get a fucking New Project 2 page, please. As ZXC said in his post, I can accept that Patreon don't like my game and art, so I remove all post. He's Chinese, so his English is going to be a bit off. Maybe I can just draw some happy latex girl on Patreon for safe, but now Patreon wants me to remove the Discord. I'm sorry, I can't do it. It is not even mine. It is created by my friends and fans. I just share art in the chat on Discord. So in the result, his account was locked down and bought under review. Don't bend the knee to these cocks. No, seriously. I will say this again. If you make any adult content on Patreon, no matter how vanilla it is, you better be planning your exit right the fuck now, because the noose is tightening around your neck. You don't want to be in that position where the same position this dude is in right now, where he could be making all of his income off of Patreon, and then Patreon just says, hey, gimp your game or else. Censor your game or else. You don't want to be in that fucking position. So get your backup plan ready. Ideally, move to another site like Subscribestar or a New Project 2 and try to migrate all of your patrons over there as well. And then once your patrons are moved over, you can just kick Patreon to the fucking curb. ECCMA 417, another Chinese developer and artist, was none too pleased by the way Patreon handled it and said he was also starting additional funding options elsewhere. Thank you. See, this guy's fucking smart. This guy knows how to do it. In the comment section, he noted he's opened up a Subscribestar and Fanbox account. Yes. At the moment, he's working on the Gothic Riona HRPG, Lona RPG. ECCMA 417 mentioned that he would be mocking SJWs and fighting the good fight until they come for his account. Now, so this dude right here, this is a dude worth supporting. And he said, yes, I will not stop using this until they start to hunt me, and I will not post any picture in here because a sword could count as violence. And based on the Freudian theory, a stick can count as a human penis. Yeah, he knows it. Yeah, the conceptual penis. You guys remember that? And you get sexual violence, I will stay here, mock all of those, this shit until they come. Now, this is how you handle it. You get your alternative set up Make it so you don't rely on Patreon anymore, and then you insult the fuck out of them on the way out. Don't even just leave. Make them ban you. Make sure everyone fucking knows how horrible they are. You can still get your hands on the RPG Maker version of ZXC's Latex Dungeon, which is currently available on ACG and F95 Zone. So there you go. Now you know who you can freaking support right there. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.